Hi, I am Drishti. I'm the founder of STEMVerse. It's a community built by students for students where we deep dive into the world of science, technology, engineering, and math. At STEMVerse, we believe in making STEM accessible and exciting and collaborative, whether you're a hardcore science nerd or just STEM curious. Today's session is a part of our research series where we bring inspiring minds to share real journeys, ideas, and hacks on how to pursue STEM beyond the classroom. And trust me, you're in for something special. Today's guest speaker is Akshay, a self driven researcher who has worked with an undergraduate from Stanford University, and he is IIT Madras' BS School Connect alumni. He is also the founder of a non-profit like us, STEM Us, and has educated over 1,800 students in STEM. He has also been part of the Harvard undergraduate program and Intel Olympiads and so much more. He'll be walking us through from scratch to scholar, a high schooler's guide to STEM discovery, where he'll break into that how you can start research from scratch. So stay tuned, get your notebooks ready, and let's dive in. The stage is all yours, Akshay.
Hey everyone. Firstly, I think it's a great opportunity, just being in this entire platform, with very inspiring minds here. So I'm gonna start up with something that really is close to my heart. So research is something that has to be that actually usually come through passion. It's not something you just want to do for college or you just want to make your profile shiny, very attractive. Okay, you publish at IEEE, you publish at ACL. You just don't want to make your application fancy. You're going to be doing research for some. You're going to be doing research because you want to make a real impact through your work to people. Because research is nothing but you creating a novel or like a novel PDF, making sure that you are creating something unique, something personalized that only certain people have achieved in the realm of research, right? So I'm gonna be talking about my experience. I am no college graduate or working professional. I'm just a high schooler. I'm a rising senior. So I'm gonna be talking about my experience and how I actually got into a lot of research. So I think okay. Let's start from scratch again. Okay. So I got into LinkedIn one random day and I started connecting to a lot of people. So I did try out cold emailing, so of course I do know that everyone tried cold emailing. So cold emailing is like a very common practice among high schoolers across the globe who wanna get internship opportunities, because in India it's not simple to get internships because they really don't think that okay, high schoolers, okay, they can do jobs. No, that ain't something that high schoolers can do. That's completely reserved for college students. So that's one highlight and some a huge negative in the Indian education system. So I'm drifting back again. Okay, let's go. So what I was gonna say is like if you're on a cold emailing to professors or assistant professors or grads at all these prestigious universities is gonna lead you no impact because I've tried emailing. I've tried 6 months of cold emailing. To multiple people. I tried cold emailing to what people, professors across the globe from Stanford to JHU, CMU. No one even bothered to reply. That was like what 400 cold emails, and no one had even bothered to reply. Like one or two, but all were negative. So I really lost hope in all cold emailing and research opportunities. And that's when I got struck about uh, self-directed research project because I think self-directed research project is gonna be like the first initial step or like a ignite to your entire research framework that you're gonna build in your entire application. So always start with a self-directed research project because you can't always be looking out for mentors or you can always be looking out for undergraduate students to be working alongside you because everyone's got their own schedule up. No one's going to be working for your success, right? So you've got to always work for your success. So one thing I would say is always start with a passion project or something like a self-directed research project. Maybe try, like let's say you want to explore the space of comp sci. Okay, so the most kind of intriguing part of comp sci right now is RAG or LMs or something like that, like reasoning models. Start delving in a lot of AI, ML kind of things so that you can really have a good perspective of what you're really gonna research on because you just don't want to do research just because the fact that it's gonna shine in your application. You're gonna do research because it's gonna make some novel impact in society, right? So I'm currently working on a drug toxicity or a molecular predict. I mean, like a prediction system. So I'm just not gonna say much about that, but I'm gonna be telling you on how I got the opportunity. So yeah, of course, I tried cold emailing a lot of people, and no one even bothered. Okay, do you have any question?
Yeah, I just wanted to put it out there that we had some questions from the students. So you mentioned that to start, you have to have a passion project. So one of our students has a question. Is it okay to start from writing review papers?
That's absolutely fine, right? So I'm gonna be briefing about what a review paper is, but anyways, of course, you might have all known it. So let's say, okay, I'm just gonna put this in very simple terms. So what I want to do is like you can go explore multiple forums, go to IEEE, go to multiple student journals where there are young researchers who publish their research papers over there. So because if you're gonna start publishing in student journals, that's gonna make that more impactful, because I'm gonna be telling you outright, right? So if you're gonna be publishing in a student journal, I'm gonna put that in a common application. It's not the same power as you put in ACL or IEEE. Hope you all know what conferences those are, right? Because if you're gonna apply or if you're gonna submit your research papers at more prestigious conferences, that's gonna add a lot of credibility. Because all those papers which come from there are from university professors or PhDs. And then when a high schooler goes and enters that realm of research conferences, it brings a different level of kind of light to your entire application, right? So I think review papers are pretty good, but what I would say is until unless you know the specific cause, or until unless you know like what you're working towards, it's not gonna go so far, right? You might go to ChatGPT, or you might go to ChatGPT, ask like what's the most unique research project that I can do right now, and then it'll drop a lot, and then you're just gonna get code from ChatGPT. That's not how research works. You're working towards a novel practice of bringing something different in the unique society rather than just doing the same thing all over again, right? So I do have a question that's popped up on me. Okay, some of the students like me are beginners. What is the beginning step for us, please? Okay, so cool. So here's your answer, right? So let's say you're gonna be starting from scratch. Okay, let's say you take me. Okay, I'm gonna be a total beginner. So this is how it would start. So first, I would do cold emailing, because just because I didn't win in cold emailing doesn't mean that no one is gonna, right? Everyone's gonna have their own shot, and maybe if you get some good guidance, if you get some positive response, you're in good hands, right? If not, you have to stick onto something called self-directed research project. It's where you write yourself your own research project with not much help from professional people. There are a lot of AI resources. There's a lot of resources which you can completely use for free. It's not mandatory, right? So there are a lot of references as well, right? If you go to multiple forums, like you can analyze how a research paper is written, like what the format is, and how you actually cite papers, how you ref papers, and what's the methodology you use, what's like the introduction, what's the abstract. Like you have to decode the entire research paper into a complete game so that you can actually get involved into it. Okay, there's another question. What kind of topics we can cover in research? Okay, that's a very vague question. So let's say you want to do something in computer science, or because I'm going to be talking in context of only computer science because I'm a computer science student, right? So okay, let's say you want to do biomedical, you want to do physics, or do you want to do okay, let's say you want to do computer science itself, right? So you've got to understand that if you don't use AI, or if you don't use something that's more in the SOTA techniques, which is called state of art techniques, if you don't implement any of those techniques in your current models right now, it's not going to be impactful as at all, right? So because to answer your question, maybe let's say you are very much indulged in biochemical or biochemistry. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna be driving hard into how are vaccines made. You're just gonna understand that because before you write a research paper, you gotta know the field knowledge. It's not like you just dive into physics research without knowing what you're gonna research on, right? So if you want to dive deep into toxicology or drug toxicity, you have to understand what molecules are primarily used in drug toxicity. It takes a lot of R&D before you jump into research, because research isn't just like one single paper. It's a total culmination and accumulation of a lot of subjects that you have to understand, a lot of knowledge that you gotta know before you jump into it, right? It's a lot of big process. Okay, Arush, you have a question? Yeah. Um, I'm not hearing anything. Okay. So I have a professional project, like really a basic version of that, and the project being highly appreciated by any resources to make it a prototype. So prototype, you mean, so do you have some kind of like a robotics project or some kind of I just need more details so that I can really abstract in that kind of context. Because if you have a robotics project, I have a lot of methods. Okay, IoT. Okay, Internet of Things. Okay, that's pretty cool. Right. Okay, so there are multiple IoT in applications that are actually developing. So a prototype, I would say, is if you can create like a small framework for your entire application instead of just building a prototype. Uh, I think that's gonna be useful. But to a more vivid answer to that question, so what I would say is before you launch your project or before you launch your, like your entire research into some common space, you've got to create like a personal brand for your project. Because if the people don't know why you're doing this research, if the people don't know why this has been, this has been done, they're not probably gonna use it, right? Because in prototype is like a huge cost. Like prototype is something that you're gonna launch. I mean, they're gonna create before you're gonna launch it to the public, right? So what I would say is how to create a basic version. So if you want to create like a prototype, try using Blender or some kind of 3D animation. I'm not very into IoT, so I can't give you much insight on those, but I'm still gonna give you something. So maybe try going to Blender, try getting yourself a lot into Blender, start creating small, 3D models in that, so that you can just understand how the framework it is. And if you're gonna have like an software IoT or something like that, I think creating a framework is gonna be most optimal. I don't think I've answered your question properly, but if you have any more doubts, just drop it on the chat box. I'll be more than happy to answer all those. Right? So I'm gonna drift again. So to where I was. Right. So where was I? Okay. Yeah. Sure. Okay. So the research I was telling about, right? So okay. Let's say you want to drop yourself into IEEE or ACO. Those are called as peer-reviewed conferences, which means that it takes a lot of time for your article or for your research to get published in that forums. It's not like a student journal. There are two main differences between a student journal and like a peer reviewed conference and where you publish at a conference, right? So I'm going to give you like the basic difference between those two research types. So a student journal is where like anyone like who can write a research paper, be it novel or be it like a bit of more intriguing kind of topic, and if you can write that properly and you can submit that, and you're probably gonna get accepted, right? Because getting accepted and getting your research paper published in a student journal isn't like a huge deal. It's not very hard. It also take because there are certain student journals that I don't know much about student journals. So there are certain student journals which demand some money for you to get your paper published. So I would really refrain from going into all of those student journals, because if you're gonna pay for something and if you're gonna get your things published, it has no credibility at all, right? It makes no complete sense why you're doing that, right? Because your research paper has to be merited by some senior peer who is really okay. This is a really good research paper. It could provide some impact to the society. Maybe not now, maybe in the future, maybe in the past. It could have some different perspectives of how like a novel methodology could create an impact in the society, right? So for everyone out of there, what I would say is if you're gonna pay for something to get accepted into, if you're gonna pay something for your paper to be published, it's not worth it all, right? Not worth it all a penny. Okay. So yeah, got one more thing. I'm a non-mathematics student, but I want to pursue a career. How can I begin in robotics? Okay, robotics, like no matter where. Okay, so you don't have to be like a sociology student to start in computer science. Like it makes no complete sense. Like if you're a computer science student want to move to economics, you can for sure do that, right? Because in the fields of AI and all that, you really don't need like a proper degree or certification to really get yourself a job into your particular favorite stream that you want to pursue at, right? So you're a non-mathematics student, doesn't matter. So robotics, the main thing is you gotta start from the basics, right? So there's something called Arduino Uno. You gotta learn Arduino code, right? It's like a robotic language which are probably used to optimize robotics. Robot projects. I think you can go through a lot of VEX robotic challenges. That's a very famous robotics program.
Yeah, VEX are pretty famous, and to start off, it's pretty essential that you learn Arduino IDE. It's where you actually code the project. You can, if anybody of, I'm pretty sure most of you are proficient in Python, or either, if not, then C++ also works. So get started with that, because before you actually go on to buy stuff to make your robots, it's better to make a 3D robot on maybe Tinkercad or AutoCAD, where you get your hands on something and you actually have an idea of how the robotics, how the components work.
Yeah, that's great insight actually. Yeah, so as I'm in 11th class, there's a question from Drew S. I'm in 11th class, so what kind of research or anything can I can do? Okay, again, that's a very vague question to ask. If you're gonna be optimizing the economics industry, if you're gonna be optimizing in the robotics industry, you can do a ton lots of research, right? What you gotta do is like you always gotta understand what's currently existing in the present field that you want to research at, right? So what I would say is there's a very popular forum. I just don't remember that. It's ARXIV, I believe so. I think it's a part of Cornell. I think that's a really good forum, but I'm not sure about the name. You can just go type that out. You're still gonna get the forum. It's a beautiful forum, right? You have multiple research papers, multiple abstracts of people who just publish their research papers over there, and it's a beautiful forum. You can guys can just go over there, just scour through a lot of papers and the way they're written. I think it's a very useful forum for people who really want to dive deep into research, because that's specifically modified and curated for researchers, like budding researchers, right? So what kind of research, it all depends on you. Like if you want to concentrate in computer science, there's a lot of things that you can do. You can do something related to colorectal cancer, maybe do brain cancer, maybe do some kind of cancer related issues, or some kind of biomedical kind of issues, because those create real impact. If you can cure cancer using your ML model or something like that, that's crazy, right? Because you just got to understand the impact of what you're doing. I mean, you would have seen in like a recent news that an 18-year-old guy, 18-year-old boy, I think, he just found with 150 million new, astronomical species. I'm just not sure with the terms, but yeah, that's it. And then he just got a ton, lots of money with his ML model, right? So that's the amount of impact you can actually curate through CS. I'm just not saying about CS is the most almighty subject, but it is what it is, right? So the main thing is, if you've got to dive deep into one particular research, you've really got to understand what you're researching towards. Research is not something you just do that for your college, right? Research is something you go beyond and above. You really got to understand. So if you're going to be researching through like a particular topic, you've got to understand what's the relating fields that you have to understand and learn before you dive deep into research, right? Because before I started researching, I had to do a lot of R&D. Like I did almost 2 to 3 months of R&D in drugs, toxicity, and a lot of the toxicology department. I went to multiple toxicology labs, I mean on Google, and then I just scout through papers. I just really got a good insight of how a toxicology paper is supposed to be presented, how it's supposed to be written, what kind of references can I use, which paper can I cite. So those are particular people. I mean, those are particular inferences that you have to use, because it's not like you're the first one doing research, right? There's already like millions of people have done research. You've just got to understand how they've curated like a perfect paper which just got published into IEEE and ACO, right? Publishing a research paper in student journals is not going to be much more. It's not going to be impactful at all. Even if you submit that to colleges, okay, you publish a research at a student journal, okay, not much impact. That's how they're gonna react to, right? A student journal, anyone can publish. If you want to publish at ACO, IEEE, or some kind of highly praised research conference, and if you go publish there, if you go give a talk about your research paper, that's a huge plus in your application. I emphasize that very much, because if you can, because I have to apply, because I'm still not done with my research paper. I still have a couple of more months to do my research paper. I'm just working on a couple of more models for just optimization and all that. Yeah, so that's more techie stuff, but I'll leave that aside for you all. What I would say is, starting from professors, just cold emailing professors, it's just not gonna work. They see what thousands of emails, thousands of people, texting them in their inbox. So I just want to keep one stance over here, right? So let's say you're all professors at Stanford University, okay? You all are an expert at your field. There are what, like when you wake up in the morning at 6, and then you open your phone, and then you go to your inbox, and you see thousand people, just texting you, okay, I want to do an internship with you. I want to work with you in the lab. Do you think that's possible for him to read through every single thing? It makes complete sense, right? So you've just gotta read the reverse psychology. If I was in his shoes, would I actually have spent the time to click on his email and just read, okay, he has done so many things, he has done so many things, oh wow, I'm just gonna take him in? That's not gonna work at all. That is all old school methods. No cold emailing is gonna work anymore. I've tried this multiple times. It has failed drastically for me. It's not gonna work anymore again. So that's why I went on to LinkedIn. I did do cold emailing there as well. Professors didn't work out actually, but to be honest, I let's say I'm just gonna give you a very statistical method. I apply. I mean, I was. I mean, I cold email what like 100 people on LinkedIn. I mean, only professors, and at least 60 people reached back to me. They were like, okay, no. They said yes. They said like send me a resume. So LinkedIn has been the most successful platform for me to cold email, but it's not the best as well because I've not got the best results that I wanted, right? So what I did is then I went on to people that I wanted to connect and really do research with, like undergraduates or postgraduates or PhDs. Not PhDs. PhDs are not gonna work because they are really looking for postgraduates because that's actually that takes a lot of credibility base, right? They're not gonna be hiring a high schooler, my perspective actually. So what I would say is like you go email, you go text. You just don't give it very formal. They'll be like, dear XXX, I want to be your intern. I want to get into. I want to work with you. I want to be your mentor. I mean, I really wish that you would be my mentor. Those are not gonna work at all, right? Just start with like a very clear anecdote that could connect you and him, right? You or him or she, okay? So what I would say is like, so when I started cold emailing one of my research mentors at Stanford, I'm not gonna reveal his name for security purposes, right? So what I did is I actually saw a college decision reaction of his. That was so crazy, actually. So I saw one of his video, and then I stumbled upon his profile at LinkedIn. Right, that was so cool, right? And then I connected him, and then he connected me next day. And this is gonna be the most legendary tip that I'm gonna give you all, right? All that things that I said, all that before was all just crunch and things that multiple people have already said. They don't come from me, but something I'm gonna tell you right now is gonna be pretty legendary, right? Stay tuned for that. Right, so what I did is he had his YouTube channel name on that, right? So I just said, I hope you. I mean, hi. I know that you're the owner of XXX channel. It was actually great, and congrats on your acceptances. He replied me the next minute. You won't believe that. He replied me the next minute, and I actually didn't go to school that day. I didn't go to school that day. I was so much excited. I just was like, okay, hi, and then he lives in the PST, right? Because he works in the PST region, which is Pacific South Zone. So and then I just messaged him. I was like, oh hi, I just saw your video on conversation reaction video on YouTube, and it was fantastic. And congrats on our acceptances. And he said that he replied the next minute. He said that, hey, thanks. He was like, did you like the video? It was like, he didn't say that. I just got confused in two people. I'm really sorry. So and then okay, that was one day, and I just didn't text him anymore because I've already created like a personal connection with him, right? Because I've already created like a personal connection with him, and if I'm gonna disrupt that immediately after he responds to me, that's gonna be total failure, right? So what I did is I just gave it a time. I just gave it time, and then the next day, I messaged him politely. It was like, "Do you remember me from yesterday? I was the YouTube guy." And then he said that, "Yeah, I do remember you." And then we all texted. I said that, "Would you be willing to work on a research project to me?" And then he said he was excited. That's the only thing I needed from him. He said he was excited about the opportunity, and then I told him okay, and then he told me to come back to him after I was with a of course after I was there with the idea, like a really good idea, and then I went to him with an idea, and he was really happy with that idea. So what we did is like over the course of 1 to 2 months, I just sat down, really brainstorming on how I should really impress him because it really takes a lot of time to impress someone at Stanford, right? It's not very simple. There's only like what so less people that go to Stanford. It's very intricate to get all those check boxes to get ticked so that they really connect with us and they really have that personal bonding. And I really think that I've created personal bonding with him. He's such an amazing guy. I really like him. The way he really talks, the way he gives me inputs is really motivating. It's really crucial for my research as well, right? So there's always one kid waiting out for you. You just gotta find the right one, right? Just keep texting people. Don't lose hope. Don't text professors. Those are not gonna work anymore. Like I keep saying this, texting professors and assistant professors are not working anymore. Right? I've tried 400 people. No one even tried. You don't even bother to even reply those. Right? So professors not gonna work. So go try, texting high schoolers, maybe like seniors who are almost done with your schooling and who are going into college, who might have gotten to some kind of prestigious T20. Go try texting them like, can I get an opportunity to work with you when you get into college? They might be interested. They might be interested because they just came from your shoes. They might be interested. They know how the feeling of ask. I mean, they know the feeling of cold emailing, right? Because they actually have experienced all these. Because one who has done research must have definitely gone through cold emailing. If you have not, you're probably in the wrong track, right? Even if you fail or win, cold emailing is absolutely the best way to start the research because it gives you that sense of motivation, the sense of curiosity. Would these professors actually, reply to us? That feeling is so insane. You wake up every single morning checking your inbox, okay, did someone even reply? So that's the feeling you have. So what I would say is jump onto LinkedIn, start messaging a lot of people, connect with the people that you really want. It's not like you want to work in CS and you want to do research at sociology, right? That makes no sense. If you want to major in CS, if you want to major in economics, do research in that platform because that's going to give credibility to your application. It's not research in sociology just because you got someone from Stanford, right? Even though it's from UT Austin, even though it's from JHU, even though it's from CMU, if you can get the right project, if you can get the right research to work with, that's all you need. It's not the university, it's not the name, it's not the university's name. I'm gonna rehand myself again. It's not Stanford that makes it's not Stanford, that puts the research right. It's the research itself. It's the quality of the research itself, right? The names don't matter at all. That's actually the kind of the material that you're going to present at these conferences. Okay, I've got a question from the founder itself. How did you get into toxicology? Okay, that's a good question. So toxicology is not like, it's not very certain that I wanted to work in toxicology. It's like the only field, the domain that I was really interested in working at because I went through a lot of research papers that was completely filled with a lot of LLMs, a lot of RAGs. So there's a lot of stuff filled in that kind of realm of data science. So I needed to find like a breakthrough where I can really present my work in a more prestigious way. Just do want to go with in the crowd. It was gonna be very hard because I'm not saying that I'm the best researcher. There are multiple best researchers in the entire field, and if I'm just gonna compete with them, it's gonna make completely no sense because there is no impact if you're just gonna create the same PPT. If you're gonna create the same abstract, the same methodology that everyone used, that's no impact. So those all tie up to like one core theme of why you do research. A research is primarily done to create a novel impact on society, right? You're creating something completely unique, something completely out of the world that no one has ever done before to create or establish a new technique that you can contribute to the improvement of the society. If you can create like a new technique on how to cure cancer and how to find out how someone has colorectal cancer, that is unique. It's not like because there are multiple research papers and models to detect if he or she has colorectal cancer. There are multiple papers on that, but the main core concept is if you can create like a new technique or like something like that which can help finding the colorectal cancer in early basis is what matters, right? So for everyone out there, for every budding researcher out there, the first main step to doing research is to really get the field study of what you want to do at. The field study, I emphasize on field study very much because just in the hope of ChatGPT, just in the hope of all these AI reasoning models, if you just jump into research, that's gonna make completely no sense. You can't trust AIs. I just asked AI a question yesterday, and I asked the same question today. He gave me two completely different answers, and I was disheartened. Right? So I don't trust AI very much. I just use it as like a friend. If I have any queries, I don't trust any factual data from it. If I just want some motivation or some, really kind of if you want some motivation or from just some reaffirmation that okay, you got this, Akshay, you don't worry, you can do this. I go to AI for sure, right?
Yeah,
So
I agree.
that is something.
ChatGPT is the best therapist I know.
Yeah, that is actually very true. Okay, Visual's got a question. Who are the best people to ask advice for research? Are postgraduates a good start, or do you recommend anyone else? Right, that's a great question, Vijul. So, what I would say is that, right. So, if you want to ask advice for research, no one's gonna turn up. If someone's gonna be like, okay, can you give me advice on how to do research? No one's gonna turn up on that, right? Because no one wants to spend hours with you just telling, okay, you do this, you're gonna be successful, you can do your research paper very well. No one's gonna do that, right? So are postgraduates a good start? Postgraduates are usually a good start, but I would usually prefer undergraduates or something like a self-directed research project. See, I was very fortunate enough to get a mentor in my first project itself. If I had not got the freshman from Stanford, I would have actually done this all by myself. But I would have definitely lost a lot of hope in the middle. And I might have even stopped doing that research because if I don't get the right resources, if I don't get like the right mentorship from someone, it's not going to be possible for you to really drive this through, right? Because that's what I say. Like resilience is very important. Perseverance is really important. Because if you're going to do this all by yourself, you've got to stick this very well, right? You've got to stay day and night, really understand how certain things work. Because research is only something where really professional people do that. It's not something for high schoolers. So research in the old times, if like a high schooler was going to do that, he was like a definite into Stanford or Harvard, right? Right now, almost everyone is doing research, right? So the amount of the applications of research, the amount of opportunities you can get through research is insane, right? So what I would say is like the mentor that I have is almost legit. Like he really gave me good insights and really understand how certain things work. Like how do I frame my entire research? He was actually the main reason why my research papers is like a particular format because he was the one who gave me the format. I tried going through Quen, a Grok, ChatGPT. They all gave me multiple formats. I really didn't trust any of those formats. Those really didn't work out for me. And then I went to him, and then he gave me a perfect format that I wanted to use, and I just used that because it's better to use someone. It's better to use someone's method when they have something accomplished already, right? So, can I do research while preparing for JEE? I'm gonna give you a very cold answer right now. You can't, right? That those are two driving paths. Like, see, you gotta understand, bro. Like, if you wanna do JEE, just stick on the JEE. Don't put your legs on two different potholes. It's not gonna work. You're just gonna get sunk, right? So if you're not doing JEE, just stick on a JEE. Just prepare JEE really hard. You get into JEE. I mean, you get into IITs. I'm really not familiar with all these terms. Get into IITs, I believe so, if I'm not wrong. Get into IITs and do research over there, right? Get research and then do research over there, okay? So it's not necessary for you to do research while preparing for JE. It's very hard.
And can I just add to that? You can do research even after preparing for JEE. So, if you know about ISERs and NISERs in India or IISC, ISER Bhopal is one of the top research universities in India, and I've been there personally for a summer outreach camp. In fact, for this year, the result was recently out on April 10. So, if you prepare for JEE and you write IAT, ISER Aptitude Test, so you can do a BS or a BS program in ISER or NISERS. Those are the top research universities in India. And having been to an ISER itself, I can assure you that you will be in good hands there. And there's one test, IAT, that I mentioned. And if you get a really, really good rank in JEE, from that route as well, you can get admission there. Research in India.
That's actually great value. I didn't know about that. I would have actually tried that. But anyways, that's cool and fair actually. Right. So you heard it from the founder itself. You got any more questions? I love to answer questions. Any more questions?
If there are no more questions, I can just start with the ones that I have. But if you guys have, you can turn on your mics and go ahead and ask them. Okay, I don't think we have any more questions. Uh, okay, no. Yeah. You have your mic on, Pokeball.
Okay.
Can you...
Yeah, got it. Okay.
Oh, my bad.
Okay. A friend right here is curious about astronomy, but it doesn't know the pathway. He's a high schooler and a bit confused. Wow. I'm really not sure about astronomy because I'm really not in that space, but
Yeah, I think Asmita can answer that. She handles the astronomy community in our company.
oh yeah, for sure. Do it. Let's go. I just want to hear multiple people answer.
Hi. So for an advice, like, see, I'm not conducting research on astronomy, but I can guide you some way. Like, if you join, if you are a part of the community, I often post some information on different subjects related to astronomy, like whether it be astrobiology or whether it be astrophysics. You can contact me personally and uh, ask if you have any doubts or anything. Or like if you go through the community, I had sent some resources. One of the channel is called Spark,
Stellar Minds. Yeah,
and
Asmita will mention all of those towards the end. Do you have
yes,
any insights on the research, or I can take that one?
so no, I don't have any word about research, but yeah,
Not a
one thing is
problem. It's okay. Not a problem. So one
okay.
of my other interns, she had actually written a review paper on. She had connected quantum physics with astronomy. So she's currently working on a self-directed research paper, but she has started with a review paper. So I think for astronomy, you first really need to see what field that you want to get into, because for research you really need to choose a niche. It's either it's observational astronomy, or you just want to improve the ways that you find, either like the 18-year-old boy Akshay mentioned about. You can look into previous research papers just so you have an idea that what kind of a niche works for writing a research paper. Again, the format remains the same for all types of research. As Akshay said, do R&D, learn as much as you can about the field.
That's exactly why this entire webinar was managed. So you guys got to understand one thing. Field study is the most important part. Like R&D is like the most important part of research. It's not writing, or it's not curating the research paper. It's not cold emailing. It's not browsing through multiple research papers. It's not the format. It's not the methodologies. It's the field study. If you don't have a good grasp of what you're working towards, there is no use why you're writing the entire research paper, right? If you're just doing that for college, just quit it, right? You have better work to do. You have better AECs that you can connect yourself with. If you want to do research, be very passionate about what you're gonna do. Really have someone, really motivating you, because it's not gonna be simple. It's gonna be really tough when you're gonna write a real research paper. Yeah, I think I got one more question. I'm thinking of getting into research after preparing for JEE, mainly as a postgraduate, but I needed guidance regarding methods for getting into the field. Yeah, so research, right? So research is like, okay, I'm just gonna draw back to one core point that I think answers to every single question that's been asked. So personally, right? Okay, so if you're not a drop into research, research is like a separate field or like a separate domain, or you can even call it a profession, right? People do research as a profession, right? People do research as a profession. It's not like a side job, but it's not like something, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna have my 9 to 5 job, I'm gonna work 2 hours on my research. It's not something people do, okay? People work that as a profession. If you want to get into research like as a postgraduate or something, maybe that's what I read. Maybe as postgraduate, but I need guidance. Right. So, okay, you're preparing for JE. Congrats and all the best. Really, that's gonna be a really tough part. I've seen people, study for JE, and I've seen them eyes go very dark. But anyways, JE is pretty tough. Like I've seen, like, because I get really drifted away when I hear about JEs, because they can't even pronounce it properly, and I've seen people laugh at me. But yeah, it is what it is. So if you want to get into as a postgraduate, I would really recommend, because if you're gonna, so like at the end of your postgraduate, I think you gotta do like a research project, like a thesis kind of. I'm not sure if that's for the PhD.
Yeah, you have to for PhD in the first year, you get the freshman year of your PhD, you get to decide what you get to explore all the fields, and in the second and third year you choose a field and you like grind on it. You absolutely just study those two fields for the next 2 years. In the final year of your like PhD, at that year you write the thesis.
Yeah, that's great actually. And then I've got one more comment. I would say that for research, first of all, you really need to get into various theories over the last 5 years. That's a really good point. Not gonna lie, I just missed that. And thanks, Manat, and got that information. And thank you for finding research gaps. That's exactly what I want to conclude at. He really read my mind. Wow, that's great actually, Manat. Right, so we've got a great community, Drifty. I think it's really good because we've got like-minded people who think the same way that everyone does. I think I mean, all people here speak the same language as we do in a metaphorical term, not the literal one. So I think, if you really want to publish research, if you want to drive into something, you've got to find the right gap. If you got to find the right place where you can place yourself or you position your research in a perfect place, because you just don't want to be using the same methodologies or placing your research in the same place where 1,000 people have already done that, right? That's no use. And if you're gonna do this, if you're gonna do something like that, and most conferences are not even gonna bother reading your entire research paper, right? Do something unique, do something novel. Again, novel is a very important word in research. Just don't do copy text or copy I mean, just don't copy content from other research papers that sound the same as yours, and just don't do that. Those are not right? Those are not good, because research conferences and journals easily get hold of all that because they've seen people do that, right? Because they've read multiple research papers, and figuring that out isn't gonna be a huge problem, right? No plagiarism, all right. That's so cool. Yeah, got any question?
Yeah, just to follow up on that, we have a question here. What websites or resources do you recommend for doing R&D?
Okay, that's great, right? So this is a very good question. Okay, so if you want to research a lot of forums, if you want to research a lot of, like public available forums, or like you just want to understand how research at these particular domains work, you can go to arxiv.org. I think we pasted that on the group chat here. I think you guys can all go there. That's pretty good, right? You can really get a good number of research papers. You can get a really good number of abstracts on how research papers are actually written. You actually get like a good insight, and okay, this is what a research paper is, right? Because starting with a research paper isn't always easy, right? It takes a lot of determination, it takes a lot of time for you really to understand how research is done. So I think you can go to that forum. You can also go to multiple student journals and really understand how people in your age think. Because if someone in the age of 15 or 16 has if they have published a research paper, you can really understand if you're in the same shoes as his, this is what you would have done, right? And what you can do is you can optimize his paper, like you can optimize, I mean, your paper, not his, like your paper in better terms compared to his, right? So you can really understand how you can optimize your paper in better ways if you go through all these public forums. Something, some of the forums I would say is you can actually go to university labs, like their websites and all that. If you can go to CSAIL or particular like let's say you want to do research in HCI, which is human computer interaction. You can go to Cornell's HCI lab. You can go to, they have multiple labs over there, right? You can just go research, just go to Google. You've got ChatGPT on your tab, right? Go there, just say I'm going to do research in this. What's like the best forums, what's like the best places I can do R&D at, and that's gonna get a ton of resources, right? Don't click on the links that ChatGPT gives. It's all fake. Nothing works. Just get the name of the lab. Go to Google. Just search for that yourself, and then you'll see multiple resources over there. You'll see people who are, you'll see people who are contacted, who work in the lab, and then go to LinkedIn or some other place, and then try go connecting with them or send them invite credits or whatever that is, and just try connecting or just see what their work is there, and you can really understand how people actually research. I'm going to give you one more key point. You can go to Google Scholar. I think that's pretty good. Google Scholar, I believe so. Yeah, you guys can all go to Google Scholar. So it's like a personalized UI. It's like a personalized Of course, it's like personalized UI where you can search for your own research papers or something like that in that website, and it's gonna give you only research terms paper. Right? I'm all gonna send you one link. Like you guys can all go to Google Scholar. I messed up the spelling. I'm sorry. Yeah, you guys can all go to Google Scholar, and then you guys can just really understand and just put in your a niche topic. Let's say you want to do research in architecture or something like that. Not architecture. You just got to be more precise in what you want to do. Don't be like I want to research in biomedical and just don't put what you want to do. Right? Like research in a particular domain varies a lot from person to person, right? So you've just got to put your particular topic or the particular niche. That's a good word, Dristy. And then you just got to put that, and then got to start searching for research papers or resources, because Google Scholar is particularly optimized to give you such resources, right? So Google Scholar is absolutely the best platform, and that's going to be like my single answer to any of those questions that you guys all have or you want to ask me, right?
Yeah, I think you've answered most of the questions that we had got. I'm a class 12 PCM student who eventually wants to do research in chemistry. How should I begin? So it obviously has two ways, that if you are preparing for JE, prepare for JE. If you're not, then you can. Akshay has already given you the whole roadmap. And then another interesting question is that did you attend any programs or got mentored by STEM professors before you started research? By like I think there's this one program called CSIR or anything like that.
No, I had no, internships at labs or previous connections where I could do internships. Right. So I'd say one more thing to you all. Like, if your father or if your parents or if your grandparents, if your relatives work in some kind of university, right? They're affiliated to some type of university. Try reaching out to them, right? Be it your uncle, be it your aunt, be your cousin brother, be it anyone in your family. If you have some knowledge that okay, they work at a university, whoever that is, if it's your distant relative or it's just like you don't even know who they are but your relative, don't hesitate, just go to them. It's called inert connections, where you use your own resources to get yourself through, because you can always be looking out for people in the outside world. Try using people that you have inside your own palms, right? Go try doing that. If you have someone who not necessarily research, but if someone is affiliated to university or college, that's a great plus, right? But I didn't have that. I didn't get that opportunity at all.
But I think if you are if you got into a program, or if like a lot of are open right now, so if you want to, you can apply, because they just really smoothen out the process. The hurdles that Akshay faced, you're not going to face them. Another question is that what skills have you developed, and uh, are you grateful for them, because they help a lot.
Right. So the first thing is a lot of determination. Right. There's a lot of determination that comes through research, because it puts your brain highly motivated. Hey, little man, happy to see you here. Right. So, hey, how are you? Okay. Let me not drift apart. I think you're in a uniform, right? Okay, cool. Right. So, okay. So let's see something else. Okay. Okay. Cool. I just got myself in. Okay. Wait. What was the question? Okay. Yeah, I got the question. So for sure, right? Determination is something that I really got caught with research, because it gives you like the day and night sleep. Like that's not like it restricts you from sleeping, right? When you try sleeping, okay, shit, I gotta do this work tomorrow. I just gotta create my better model. I just gotta create more methodologies. It's gonna keep traversing through your mind here and there. It's never gonna let you sleep. It creates like a sense of motivation as well. It's like, okay, I'm getting genius. I'm getting genius. Because when you say to someone, okay, I write a research paper to my cousins, they're like, oh my god, that's good. I wish I did something like that. So that gives you like a sense of motivation as well, like a supreme power. Like when everyone is stuck to their 9 to 5 jobs and when they do research, it's pretty fun as well. And then I would say it's definitely curiosity, to really delve deeper into the study and really find yourself stuck, and then you go, try solving that. It gives you a lot of problem solving skills, curiosity, determination, and a lot more things. You just can't, confine it through words. It's just like mental satisfaction that when you're done with the research paper, and when that is published by like a very recognizable forum or like a conference, the amount of happiness that gives you is so cool. It's so insane. I think everyone must experience that. Just go get yourself into research. It's really fun. There are a lot of ups and downs, but after all, research is research. It's great. It's very fun. It's really cool as well. You can deal with a lot of data sets, like a lot of complex stuff that you would have never imagined doing in your entire life. And when you have access to all of those, that's a completely different perspective of how you're supposed to view careers as well. Don't want to make this a career session, but yeah, that's it. Anything else? Okay. Do we need to get in? Okay, there are multiple questions now. Let's go ahead. Okay, this from Nivedita. I'm really sorry if I didn't pronounce your name properly. I just got names very wrong. What tips would you give for maintaining a strong academic tone while keeping the reader engaged in research paper? This is a very tech question, right? This is a very like a more techie kind of question. I really appreciate that question, Nivedita. What I would say is if you wanna create like a strong academic tone, what I would say is like you go to previous research papers, you go to like completely like the previously published research papers. Let's say I was going to do something in toxicology, right? There's a lot of papers that I already cited or I already referred. I just don't want to mention any specific name because that's going to be a little bit more assaulting for anyone of us. But anyways, so what I would say is like you go to all these forums that I previously mentioned, or that's on the chat box right now, which is pinned. When you go
Yeah,
to
if you have any forums that you want to mention or anything, you can just send it to me and I'll drop in the community.
yeah, that's great. Sure, that works. Right. So yeah, going back to my answer. So what I would say is, if you want to create a strong academic tone, you need to put in a lot of numbers. You need to put in a lot of visualization graphs. So you need to make it colorful, right? Research paper is not something you just base on theory. It's not just you just number lines and lines of sentences that make a lot of context. But if you don't provide real evidence of what you're actually doing, it's not going to make any sense, right? So let's say I have run a model, right? Let's say I'm just going to speak this context in computer science because that's going to give me better insight. I'm just going to give the most optimal answer. So I'm working on a toxicity prediction. I need certain models that are pre-existing, and I'm gonna create certain models that I want, right? So there are a lot of models there, like something called GANs. So those are more techie terms inside the CS field. So those are something that we really delve deeper into. I really understand how those actually work and curate similar models and really find the results and attach those to my research paper. When I have done something like that, that gives a lot of credibility and that gives a lot of academic tone as well. And I hope that answered your first part of your question. So the reader engaged, right? That goes all with narrative. Make sure that this is not your essay, right? This is not some kind of school essay, not some kind of college essay. You don't want to make this free flowing, writing XD or some kind of funny names on top. No emojis, strictly no emojis. It's gonna be very professional. You gotta use a very professional language. You don't use acronyms. Okay, you can use acronyms, but the first time you mention that acronym, you gotta put in the full name, and then you can use acronyms. That's completely okay to do. But other than that, I think using any kind of informal language is not you. I mean, it's not prohibited, but it's not it's not. I mean, it's just not used actually. So just don't make your entire paper narrative is. Make your paper narrative. I'm sorry, right? Just don't make it poetic. Just don't make it more. Don't use a lot of poetic devices and all that. It's not gonna work for the peer reviewers, right? So I think I've answered partly to that question. I might have not, but yeah. So we have the next question from Tarun. Do we need to get into top college universities for getting recognition in these fields? Absolutely not. Right? Absolutely not. You do not have to get into top college or university to get into ACL or IEEE. High schoolers across the globe still publish there. Right? So no, that is a big no. You don't have to get into top college or university. The research, I'm gonna say the same thing that I said before. So the name doesn't matter at all. It's the quality of the research paper that you have written. It's the quality of the conference. It's not the university name. It's not the person that I'm mentoring with, right? Of course I have to give huge credits to my mentor. I have to give huge credits to my mentor. Thanks, man, if you're watching this, right? But I've got to say, like, I've got to keep it very strong, right? Got to keep it very, very strong. So what I would say is, you don't have to get to top college universities to do all these research. You can study at home with a computer and just do it. If yes, then what are the top places inside or outside India? I'm not sure. Inside India, maybe I think you can do Manipal. Manipal is pretty good. That's a pretty good research. I've got another question.
Yeah, there's multiple programs in India. As he mentioned, there's Manipal. There's this young technology scholar. It's the third round of its third cohort is actually live. So if you want, you can just go Google YDS and you can apply there.
Okay, I've got another question. How did you find your research journey? How fun, exciting, or boring, or mind-numbing you found it? What's the best memory of the process? Okay, I'm gonna answer from the bottom because I think that's the best question. Right, so don't mind. Taha. The best memory is, of course, getting, uh, getting him, really excited about what I was gonna do. Because I really keep laughing whenever I think about that instance. I messaged him. I was like, bro, I just saw you on YouTube, and then would you be willing to work? Would you be willing to mentoring me? And he was like, yeah, I'm super excited. Yeah, that's great. And that's what he said, right? I was really excited about that. So that's the best memory at all. That's not gonna be publishing my research, of course. That's the first thing. So best memories, of course, gonna be one line answer. The time he said, "I'm excited." That's it. How fun, exciting, or
Akshay, we're just running out of time, so you can answer one or two questions just in
yeah,
short.
sure, sure. Mind numbing. It is very mind numbing. That is gonna be a very simple answer. That is very mind numbing. It is definitely not boring. Not boring at all. It is very mind numbing, exciting and fun. I've said the entire video. How do you define your research journey? My entire video again. Research journey, you start with cold emailing, you start with reaching out to people. If people accept, that's good. If don't, you just do a self-dev research project. You just dive deep into research, just understand the field study, really go into, okay, I've got to study this. You've got to understand this before you dive into research. How did you decide the domain of your research? I don't know. I actually don't know how to answer that question. I knew that I was into computer science, but I'm not sure. I was really not sure about toxicology, but it's something that really okay. If I do something in drug, maybe that could create some impact. That's the kind of feeling that you might get when someone hits you up. So, how different or similar is, let's say, an independent research you have done from an ISEP? Oh, okay. I don't get a question. How different or similar is, let's say, an independent research you have done from an ISEF project? I have not done ISEF.
I think I can answer that. That's actually my friend, so I know where he's coming from. So it's not that it's similar or different from ISEF. You just have to find a niche that you do research in. If it aligns with what ISEF looks for its projects, you can also apply there.
Right. So, but I do know one thing about ISEF. So if you're living in India and if you want to move to ISEF, I mean, if you wanna see yourself at ISEF, there's like a national science fair called as IRIS. So it's something that you guys must have known if you have to make yourself an ISEF, because it's like a shortlisting run at India, and then after you get shortlisted, and then you go represent India at ISEF, the global stage of high school research. That's a great place. Like if you can be one of the finalists at ISEF, I think you're already into top T20s, right? So that's something I really say. And RSI, I think you're trying to mean MIT's research program. And if you get into RSI, of course, you're also definitely T-twin. I mean, because these are like certain programs that T20s actually look for, and if you can really see yourself in those, I think you're in a good spot. And any more questions from anyone?
Okay, I think that would be it. And okay, now we have another one.
Oh wow, that's a lot. How did you
Uh,
prove that your research is true? Yeah, sure. How do you prove that your research is true? No research is objective. It's all subjective, right? So you publish something that you find is unique, or you publish something that you think, okay, this could be like an optimal way to reach the solution for this question, and that's what you write in research, right? You cannot find the optimal solution at all, right? You just think, okay, this is going to be a subjective answer, right? You just think, okay, this might be one of the most unique ways I think I could approach this question. Okay, that's good. I'm going to write this as a research paper. So that's what we're gonna write. Okay, so that's what research actually is. Yeah, so it isn't about objectivity. It isn't like, okay, this is true, this is false, this is right, this is wrong. No conference, actually, divides papers like those. If they actually find that, okay, this might be the optimal solution, you're into the conference. If not, you just do it again. There's no wrong. There was an indie chapter as well for our side conducted by IISc. I do know about IISc. I think it was
No, I think he's got it wrong. The program by IISc is called Promzis India. It's a mathematics program. Its application is live in January. If you apply there, then you get into IISc. For RSI, I think it collaborates with different institutions each year.
okay. That's good. I didn't know that. How did you cold email find mentors and how did you reach out to them? I think you came at the wrong time. Right, cold email.
Yeah, you can just skip few of those questions. I'll brief it up in the group because I noticed a lot of them joined at 7:30 or later.
Oh yeah, sure, cool. Then I'll move to your questions, Drishti.
You have answered all of them almost. Let me just check once. Let me refresh the page. How do you prove that your research is true? I think that was in the comments, right?
Yeah, I think so.
How do you manage your research with multiple stuff? Can you send some of the research that you have already published?
I was actually expecting that question, and okay, I finally got it. Yeah, schedule is tight. Schedule is always tight. You have to do like a lot of things. You have to manage your academics. You have to do ECs. You have other EC commitments. If you're part of the student government, which I was, is also very hard because you're gonna primarily be doing this in your junior or your senior year of high school. If you're a freshman or a sophomore, that's cool. You guys can actually delve into a lot of research ideas. You can start with the review papers, as Christy said. But yeah, I'm just gonna talk in the context of juniors and seniors. So I would really say that you can actually wait. Yeah, give me a moment. I just think I messed up. Okay. Okay, where was I? Wait, I just messed up. Okay, thanks, Daha. I think this is a pretty good resource.
Actually, RSI in India is it has a different quota in the whole. I think 80 students or 60 students are selected as a whole, and out of which 30 or 35 are from India. So I think Taha's talking about that. If any of you guys are in your either sophomore, junior, or freshman year, you guys can check the resources he just sent.
Yeah. So research is definitely time bombing. So because it takes a lot of time from your entire schedule, because you have to really dedicate yourself like at least an hour or two every single day. Because that's what I did. So what I would say is like you guys can actually start during your summer breaks, or let's say you have like a week or two break, and you can start then, and you can take some time, take it 5 to 6 months. Doing a research across a year is completely fine. It's not like you have to do it today and you have to submit it the next week. It's not gonna work. It's not an essay. It's not an essay, right? It takes a lot of time to do research. So I think it's completely fine to take a year or 6 to 7 months of your entire a year to just do the research project, and it's completely fine. And do you have anything else? One last question by my side. I feel like as a senior year student, I died. Okay, saying that I don't have time to start and complete research paper before my graduation, so I feel like it will be logical to do it right now. I know it can be careful going to college too, but still. Okay, I know where you're coming from. I have been in the same shoes. I have a couple friends who have been in the same shoes. Not in my school. I just have a couple friends in the US who have the same feeling actually. They are senior and then they're seniors. They're gonna be starting school right now. So the one thing is like if they would start research right now, you can definitely not finish it, right? Because 12th is already very demanding, and academics are always a part of your application. It's not like no one's gonna neglect those and no one's just gonna see those. Of course, academics are a really important part of your application. They're not a deal breaker, but of course they're a part of your application, right? You just gotta believe that. So I would really say that I wouldn't say it's illogical. I think you can really spare some time to do research because let's say you start today. Let's say you start tomorrow. Well, tomorrow is Monday, perfect timing. So you can start tomorrow, and you can really find yourself. First, you gotta do a lot of R&D, right? It's That's itself is gonna take you like a month or two. You really have to find a good niche. You really have to find a good research topic that you want to work on. Something that you can. There's something that you're really fond of. It's not like you're doing something just because of you're not doing something just because you want to do research at, right? You want to do something you're passionate about. I was really passionate about computer science, and that's why I was doing toxicology. But doing toxicology was never my goal. But doing research in computer science was mine. So that drives toxicology from there. So you can definitely give it some time. It's not like when you apply to college, you need to have your research paper published. You can still mention that in your application. It's still cool. You can just say that I'm still, working on our self-directed. You can just say it like this: self-directed research project. I mean, self-directed research, and then you can just type in. I mean, with 150 characters, you can just say what your research project is, and the additional info section, you can actually give that out. So that's something I would say. You can actually do that. You can also do that in college. So that's a good question. Tarun, what advice would you give your younger self when you were in your initial phase of researching? I would really say to not be demotivated, because at one point of time I really after cold emailing professors. So I started cold emailing since my freshman year, right? I started cold emailing since my freshman year. Oh, hi. That's great to see you. Okay, I'm really excited to see you here.
I think you
So,
should introduce him, Akshay.
okay. So, if you don't know, he is the father of my mentor. Right. So, hello, sir. How are you?
Doing good, thank you.
I mean, I've read all the articles. I just read yesterday. I just read one yesterday. I was really fascinated. Oh my God, that was really good. I really appreciate the time you take from your busy schedule to just do all those articles for people out there. Oh my God, I really appreciate the time. I really didn't expect to see you here. I mean, I'm really dumbfounded right now. I'm laughing. I really appreciate that, sir. I really appreciate that, sir. Right,
Thank you.
so I'm gonna go again. I just lost all my control. Where was I? Okay. Oh shit. I'm so dumbfounded. Okay. So where were we? What would you give your initial phase? Okay, I'm gonna answer that question, Tarun, for you. What would you give for younger self when you were in your initial phase of researching? So really say to keep yourself determined, really keep yourself into the strata, really understand that it takes a lot of motivation for you to really, really stay in that research phase, because researching isn't simple. If you don't have anyone to back you up, it's gonna be very hard. Because I've actually seen that work, right? Because I've come from a school where no one's ever gone this part. Like I'm taking so much risk because I come from a CBSE platform and I've not seen anyone do this. Like, be it my parents, be it my family, be it my friends, no one. Everyone's just running through the matrix of JEE exams and all that. And I have to move every single rock. I have to slay every single branch. I'm gonna make this more narrative. I have to do all that by myself. It takes a lot of time. So what I would really say is you should really keep yourself determined, keep yourself really motivated, and just don't stop. Just don't stop. So the one thing I would say is just don't stop and just keep moving. And if you can find someone to really help you, if you can find someone to really back you up and just give you the light motivation that you need, that's it. Like, you can be very successful in your research. I think that comes from me. And yeah, but anyways, that was a good question. There's some professional advice. I'm not gonna give any professional advice. I don't know professional advice. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Akshay, and everybody for asking your amazing questions. If you guys have any more questions, you can either DM me or you can just drop it in the link that you guys were doing just now, the one that you have used to register. And any last note, or sir, it's really incredible how you took the time to come and appreciate him. So, do you have anything to say?
Uh, I switched onto the computer. Um, Actually, it's very impressive what you're doing from India and all the accomplishments you have
I mean, it's
shown to the world and all the work you're doing. I hope you're able to make bigger impact as you grow in your life.
yeah.
That's some.
I'm really dumbfounded, sir. I really didn't expect you to be here. So I think I mean, I think it's pretty great because to find Rishi as one of my mentors, I think it was very hard because I tried emailing a lot of people. I just didn't find anyone, and then I just kind of connected to the YouTube. I know I said this 3 times in the entire webinar, but I'm still gonna say it again. Just connected with him, and then he just said, "Okay, I'm excited. I just wanted to hop on this." I was really excited more than that. So it's a huge shout out to Rishi. I'm gonna say his name right now. Huge shout out to Rishi. Please, convey my sincere thanks to him. It's a great pleasure working with him because he's really given me practical insights of how you're supposed to thread like a really professional research. If he wasn't there, I wouldn't. I mean, my research paper wouldn't be here to what it is right now. So I think it's a huge plus that he's onto my application. He's really into something that I'm delving into. So I think it's really great. So yeah, I'm just laughing right now.
Nice. Have you figured what you want to do with your life?
Yeah, kind of. I think so.
Nice. Good.
And please dropping more articles. I really love all of those. It's really great,
Sure.
actually. Okay, any more questions, anyone?
Yeah, I think that's it. So, incredible webinar. Like, huge, huge, huge thanks to Akshay for making this a success. I really resonate with like his journey from not choosing JE and taking an unconventional path, and I think that he has really presented his narrative in a very clear way for all of you to understand. So if you guys have any more doubts from him, you can reach out to me, you can reach out to him. Is it okay if I drop your LinkedIn in the community?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, okay, that is great. Uh, Once again, thank you so much, sir, for dropping by. Thank you so much, Akshay. That was it for today. I'm just gonna put this out there. If any of your friends want to join the STEMVerse community, I'll be dropping the sign up link for the community. And if you want to intern with us, I will also be dropping the link for that. That is it for today. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining.
Yeah, it was all my pleasure. It was great. It was great. Really speaking to you all. I really appreciate, sir. And I really didn't expect to see you here. But anyways, thanks, Dusty. It was a great opportunity and really connect. Really had a great time with everyone here. If guys got great insights into what we all doing. So we all speak the same language. We're all different. We all treading the unconventional paths. So if anyone is stuck somewhere, please don't hesitate to reach out to either of us. We're all in the same journey. We're on the same boat. We all can cross the track. There might be a lot of political influences from Donald Trump, but just don't get demotivated. You guys can all get through it.
I needed that. I needed that.
Yeah, don't worry. F1s, of course. OPTs, F1s. It just I know these guys are getting kind of getting crude right now, but it's all cool. Just give it a shot. But what I would say is just keep yourself a backup, right? Just don't rely on all C20s because already international students have a lower acceptance rate, and after that lower financial aid, it's gonna be pretty hard for everyone. So always have a backup with you all. If you're preparing for JE, all the best over there. If you're going through the unconventional paths that we're all doing, it's gonna be very fun over here. And I'll see you all next time. It was great connecting with every one of you, and I really appreciate the time you took here to come from your busy schedule, sir. Thank you, Drishti.
You're very welcome. The pleasure's on mine.